Episode 4 of the Upside Down World and how it relates to abortion with Stranger Things. Um, so season 4 is about Eddie sacrificing himself for his community, and the word sacrifice is a hard word because it can mean a couple of things. It can mean something very demonic. It also can mean that you're giving something up to better something else. And in Eddie's case, it was that. Now, some people look at abortion like they're giving up the right to be a mother because it's the wrong timing. And it's not that they don't like children, it's just the wrong timing. And I often think just the way the government and the media, like I've talked about in other episodes here, that the agenda clearly points to it being a sacrifice for profit. And I know this one hurts a bit, but I just don't see any way around it. I see us programmed from the time that we are little by the government, by the media, to suggest that it's okay to choose the time you want to be a parent and that abortion is okay. And but there's never any education about how about just don't have sex until you're married. Like, why isn't that ever discussed? Because saving yourself for somebody that you're going to spend the rest of your life with is pretty incredible if you think about that. If it's pretty incredible. And to be honest, you don't really need sex doesn't need to be a part of your relationship anytime before marriage. It really doesn't. I mean, just think of like I said in the last episode, just think of the communication and the depth of trust you can develop with a person of the opposite sex. And it becomes so incredible. You just can't imagine spending your life with anybody but that person. I mean, how awesome is that? I mean, I know people that I went to high school with who met their boyfriend in high school and they waited. And they're still together. And not only were they smart, but they were confident. And then they didn't care about what everybody else was doing. They didn't care. They did what was right in their soul. And so getting back to the sacrifice, so here's Eddie. Everyone loved Eddie because he was so bad and he was so hot. And when I think of myself in high school, I was a much nicer person in public school. I was very shy in public school, and I'd gone to so many schools by grade 5 that I was pretty shut down, and I was shy, and I had no confidence, and I was small. A lot of my girlfriends looked like they were in grade 11, and here we were in grade 7. So a lot of my friends had boyfriends, but I didn't. Boys weren't interested in me. And then when I got to high school, I all of a sudden bloomed, and I became popular. And I really didn't know what to do with it. Um, and I had sex way too soon. And you could tell some of the, like, those yearly pictures, like grade 9, I looked so innocent and sweet. Grade 10, I still looked fairly innocent and sweet. Grade 11, I was wearing so much makeup and my hair teased to the moon because it was like the 80s. And that was so revealing because I was clearly trying to hide my shame. I mean, clearly, makeup is wonderful for that, and fashion is wonderful for that, because there is so much demonic principalities around fashion industry and the makeup industry. And I mean, you just do your research, you'll be able to find it. And I was entering into it because I was hiding my shame. I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing. I had no business having sex. And so when it came time for me to have an abortion, here I was. I was 25. It's not like I was a kid, but I was really a naive 25-year-old. I just spent 7 years with an Orthodox Jew as a boyfriend, and he was a lovely person, and he was good to me, but I never met his parents. I was not welcomed into their home because I was a Gentile. And I mean, like, what the heck was I thinking? I wasn't valuable enough, and clearly I did not think I was. And so when I became pregnant with the this lovely Frenchman's baby at the age of 25, I still had a very low value of myself. And because I didn't have a lot of positive support in my life, I feel that I did that. I sacrificed. I sacrificed my child for because of my career, but honestly, mostly it was because of what people were going to think of me. And I was in the fashion industry. I was in the apparel business and wholesale, and that's what I went to school for. And I was just, starting to rise up in my career. And but I wanted to have this baby, but I didn't have any support. And so when as I look back, I see it as a sacrifice. And sacrifice of children goes all the way back thousands of years. I mean, and it's still happening. I mean, child trafficking is still happening. Women are having babies to be sacrificed. That is happening, and they are sacrificing the children to Baal. Just look it up. It's out there. And I see abortion as the same thing because of the way we've been programmed to believe that we have a right to choose. We have a right to have sex, unprotected sex. We have a right to, let our babies die. And in my country, you got 8 months of pregnancy to determine if you want to be a mother, which is absolutely insane and demonic. And I say this because the psychological effects on the woman during an abortion and afterwards is so clear. There have been so many studies that no one talks about because it is kept under wraps. But if you want to find it, you can find it. And it is diabolical. And here we are in 2025, and we still don't get it. We still don't get what the government, what the media, what these Planned Parenthoods are trying to do. And they pay people to speak openly about the value of abortion. These people are paid. They are paid advertising. And I hope you know that. Yeah, it's sick. When I think of how long it took me to recover, 25 years is a long time. And people still, they had an abortion when they were young and they hadn't had any counseling or coaching or even discuss it. And they've gone on to have their families. And I just feel for them in my heart because they need help. They need help. They need to say it out loud, and they need to forgive themselves. I mean, there's many ways that it shows up in our lives. For me, one of the main things, which I haven't talked about so much, is that I lost my voice. I lost my voice for years. And what happens when we shut down and we lose our voices, we become angry. And that anger starts to come out at the most unusual times, and we can't control it. It is embarrassing how my anger would come out at the most unusual times. It didn't even fit with anger. It didn't even fit with the conversation that my anger would come out. And I didn't know what to do with it. And it was so out of ordinary for me, so out of character. But that's what happens when we've experienced PTSD, and it happens when we feel we have no voice left. So anyway, we're over 12 minutes, so I'm going to shut this down. And we'll see you on episode 5.